Right, we're back. Last time we actually managed to conquer Timbuktu and this tiny little sliver of Ghana off of Dutch Senegal, which is something I've been hoping to do for a long time, but, well, there are reasons that kept me from doing that. Right now, it's time for me to start working towards getting that arc welding up. Because, well, I've got a surplus and I definitely want to increase construction, but I probably should check to see how much everything costs before I try that. Okay, and there. Okay, maybe not use heavy fuel oil just yet. Have I? Yes, okay. I mean, the amount of electricity used over there is going to increase, that's for sure, so. Just need to be careful with where I do it and how I do it. Make sure that the electricity price remains somewhat reasonable. And also to try and use heavy fuel oil where it wouldn't be ridiculous. Oh, great. Two levels now. There, later. Of course, there also happens to be estates with only a few sectors, which, well, it's not a big deal. I can just transfer it to that production method without it becoming actually problematic. Especially considering coal is ludicrously cheap, so due to a lack of use for it. So if I can stick around on just coal for a while, then it's fine. Let's see here, Nigeria. No lag spikes, they happen. It's perfectly normal. No big deal. Okay, I can handle that. But needing to swap over. Where are the remaining construction sectors anyway? There's one here. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, right, there's 15 here and one power plant. How many would I need? Each one requires 40. Each level of this produces 115. I'm already a bit low, so let's add another one. 6. 6 more would be probably the smart thing to do. It'd probably be smartest to put these at the very front so I can get them built immediately. Yeah. Not rail transport. Right, there's also construction sectors over here that I need to handle. Not actually in Oromia, but Amhara has some. Gotta check to see. Okay, yep, swap to heavy fuel oil then. It could still use a couple levels. Shove them towards the back of the queue. There's quite a few here too. Ah, it's the perfect time to swap to heavy fuel oil here. Okay, it definitely makes sense. There's plenty of population to use for some sort of work. In some areas with quite a bit extra, I can swap over to... Oh, I already have electric sawmills there. Oops. Well, it's no big deal. Do wonder... Oh, wow, hardwood is expensive. Okay. Oh, is that the recently conquered? No? Oh yeah, right. I'm still recovering the rigidity from the war. So some of the numbers may be a bit wrong. There's a certain irony of sending in jackboots against the fascist movement. I could grab this for 7.7 infamy. Be nice to have it mixed in with something else like that, but for that one I need to have no infamy. This will cause problem regardless, although, yeah, I would need to have it empty in order to be a good idea. This should probably be conquered on its own. That one is, yeah. Ooh, this gives plus 33% dex but also increases infamy generation. That increases iron usage. More so than it increases chemical production, which means I'll avoid it until I can get more iron. I am genuinely running short of iron. The world kind of is too. A fascist social paternalist. Yeah, it's still only 1963. The game is definitely starting to chug. And slowing down overall. Let's start improving army conditions. This temporarily gives morale recovery, but also applies a permanent effect, boosting the standard of living for servicemen, which makes them a bit happier and easier to keep under control. More people, please. I shall consume. Yes, I definitely want half of Equatoria. That way, I just need to conquer the other half from Britain at some point, or who knows, maybe they'll get their independence. When's the next election, anyway? 1966, towards the end of the year. No, that's about 36. Okay, so it's going to fade away by then. Sad. So how can you get the communists out of the government? I'm getting the feeling that all of that is... all of their power comes from... well... them being in the government for so long. Look at how many positives they had. Compared to the amount of population that supports them, they have 7 different executives, each of which is giving them somewhere between 20 and 35% more. Generals aren't that important, but they're still notable. And then plus 114% from the fact that they control the government entirely. If I can get the anarchists in there instead, I might be able to handle things to a more reasonable degree. Yeah, the biggest problem with steel, the reason why it is not cheap at all, is because of the iron. The amount of iron required is just way too high. Oh yeah, build all the power plants. Okay, let's just go ahead and... There we go. Okay, what's weird is that this is losing money. Art can only get so cheap. But maybe getting the arts academies to produce film art instead will help. Yeah. Thing is, I don't have much foreign out production, so a lot of it is imported. Actually, none of it's imported. Oh. Art is just terrible good as it is. I don't have a volcano. There is a volcano in East Congo, though. That's a requirement for actually building geothermal stuff. You need lots of water in order to have that, but it produces so much electricity. You don't ever have to worry about it once you have it. Gujarati are coming in. Good. What's funny is that in theory, right now as it is, just the anarcho-syndicalists would be a functional government. I do need to be careful though, because I do want to ensure that the foreign affairs does remain on jingoism, because otherwise we will get a revolution. Unless it is merely flexible foreign policy, because that's the only thing they like, and everything else is gonna get... it's gonna make problems, to put it simply. However, over time, they will start to fade away. Especially since I'm getting a lot of loyalists now that standards of living are increasing again. So that is very helpful. Now, what next? I think for right now my best bet is to just let my infamy decay. Oh, fine. I'll crap this. Next. I don't plan on using synthetic cosmetics, at least not for a while. Lubricants are... they tend to be really difficult to obtain. Synthetic pesticides does seem like fun, but wow. These have oil and pharmaceuticals, I guess. Alright, 100 days and then Public Works needs to be refreshed. Great. Looks like everyone's finally done with the last war, so they're starting a new massive war. The thing is, both sides hate me enough not to ask if I want to get involved. So I'm just gonna accept that not anything is going to come my way from that. Except for all of them being distracted. So I can probably do something a bit more interesting in the meantime. While everyone's busy. Being rather silly over there. Hmm. Dealing with the French nuisance instead might be a better idea. Jeez. All that for tea. Yeah, definitely could use more bauxite. So where am I mining bauxite? I need to set those up to be better. Start using explosives and all that. Nope, I already have. Okay. I do have natural gas unlocked. I'm not actually using it for anything. So think of natural gas unlocked? I need to double check that one. That might be an incorrect assumption. Oh, they're guaranteeing Congo's independence. Oh, great. Nah. Looks like the Congo just got its independence. Nice. Good for them. Gets a 0. Sure. Wait, did Ross Island get its independence? Yes. Well, Egypt might intervene, but I won't commit. Ooh, helicopters. Those are very useful since they actually provide defensive buffs, which are few and far in between, let me tell you. So, definitely grabbing it. Yeah, I just said Egypt might intervene. If they do, well, I can just add some of their states to the list to conquer. Probably Iridia. I mean, I could use more iron. But maybe Blue Nile or Kordofan. Kordofan does have oil, so that's interesting. Although Blue Nile would look very, very weird. Kordofan a bit less so. I don't think I can grab both. Both would be too much, simply in the way of how much infamy I would generate. Although this might be one of those circumstances where it's reasonable to do so, simply because of the lack of interest that anyone has. Because if that ends up being the case, why not? There's no real reason not to get involved at that point. That I might actually finally break even. on glass for the first time in ages. If things stabilized enough for the... Yeah, they're starting to get more power. Listen to course. It's still all communist, though. Oh, they backed down. Okay. That makes things easy. Don't think they have anything that... Why are you building 30 levels of tooling here? Some of these decisions are just weird. No. That the decisions that the AI makes can be very, very strange. I've got spare plastics, so why not? Okay, fish is fairly available. Good. Though I could use another power plant, or swapping to oil. Yeah. Da 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 da. Rajput mass migration. Alrighty then. Number 6 on total population. Number 1 and 2 are of course China and India. And then there's Russia, and then the US, and then Japan. Pretty much everyone you expect. And then Sokoto. And then Brazil. Brazil's been getting a lot of immigration. There, now I've got natural gas unlocked. Next I'll be doing international organizations. It does annoyingly increase infamy generation, but I will get an extra free company charter, which finally allows me to remove this debuff without needing to nationalize a lot of things from a company. It also gives me boosted tech spread and more influence, so the influence isn't really necessary. I don't know, maybe I should start talking about random things just so that there's something happening. Yes, the game is going incredibly slowly now. Day segments go by like every second or so, and the weekly calculations take 10, 15 seconds, maybe even 20, depending on the week. And the months, oh boy, the months. Yeah, it's certainly taking its sweet time, isn't it? Well, the cool thing about these oil refineries is that you can actually really bring down the workforce. With maxed out automation, that's minus 2.5, minus 2.5. There will be 600 people per level, working per each level, which is very, very low in total. That is ludicrous in how low it is. Oh hey, Mr. Molly's done with its fight. Everyone that's interested in defending them doesn't have a border with me, so... And naval invasions are really hard, so even under this late in the game. Funny enough, the input requirements of an MBT actually is cheaper than a modern heavy tank. At least when it comes to things like ammunition, artillery, tanks. It's surprisingly cheap when you consider the differences. I should have started public works a long time ago. But now I am. Yeah, if welfare payments become problematic, I can lower it in order to focus on building things up again. Part of the problem is that the unemployed population is fairly consistent. And there's only so much I can do about that. So as soon as I employ a new batch of people, boom. Okay, a general died. Now I need to figure out where I need to do a replacement. Here. Bigoted pillager. There we go. Defensive strategist. I should also nationalize. There we go. Getting close to 1 billion. Still going to take a sweet time though. Of course the USA is on the top of that list. I GDP per capita is only number 43. Canada's on top of, wow, that's 25. Almost 25. Okay, that's a bit longer than I was hoping. No, not you. No, not you. You'll do. There we go. It's a bit much, but I'm sure it's fine. Okay, I fully admit the heavy tanks are a bit slow. I really should have clicked that button sooner. Oh well. It's no big deal, it's just Seko. So I have that under control, I'll take over Carda, no big deal, and then Futatura. Oh yeah, and just so you know that... Okay, Seko is a constitutional principality, it's just weirdness with how revolter flags tend to work. I'll probably take on Massini too. The UK might intervene. Producing more glass than I require. Wow. For once. Of course, annoyingly, apparently, it's not high enough for the dividends to be happy. Really? Really? Are you not entertained? Could definitely use more telecoms. The amount of uranium the world's purchasing for me is increasing. Perfectly fine with. Let's see here. Okay, power plants, how are we doing? Swap to oil. Okay, that's gonna need a minute. Time to reorganize. Oh, I can't downsize buildings because revolution. Of course. I'm sure people are going to start swinging by this place eventually. It's just going to take some time for me to set up everything up first, and then people will start immigrating. I do need to have electricity production set up for some of the stuff, though, to actually work. Right, the penalty is going to fade eventually. Just give it some time. Penalties. Yeah, the sheer amount of turmoil is ludicrous. Too much. Okay. There we go, public works. There, that allows me to mix and match which ones I get from where, but generally speaking, no. Deposit scavenging normally just isn't very good. Admittedly, though, common ores are pretty common, but not that common. Definitely use more levels in a lot of places, though. In fact, I think I might build them up specifically in Somaliland. I mean, I'm already getting that, so... election season's coming in soon. That's intentional. It's not intended. Iridia and Western Mali have electricity shortages. I mean, that's expected from here. Just the general state of things there. But Iridia, not so much. Yeah, there's definitely a problem. Okay. There. I'm not sure what caused so much. Oh, they've maxed up the water plants. Okay. That makes sense. There's a massive amount of natural gas here. Oh, I can actually produce oil from natural gas rigs? That might be worth looking into. No one's willing to defend Carta. Okay. There it is. Election season. Yeah, I'll use the opportunity to push the Communist Party out. Hopefully there might be enough. No, I can't get enough clout to get the Anarchist Society specifically, but... it's fine, it might allow for some interesting side effects. So, what next? Yeah, considering that, I think I should actually further expand construction sectors. be able to afford maxing them out in East Houseland. Especially considering the amount of spare population there. And also there. Hmm? Oh. Forgot to swap the one in Somaliland. Yes, the one singular one over here. Move to HFO. That's better. Still not great, but better. Should have done that much sooner. Once again, minor problems with timing. Jeez. The anarchist political group, Anarchist Society's rise to prominence, has been evoked in the Liberal Party election campaign, casting themselves as a more reasonable alternative. I did not know that was actually in the game, because it's fairly unreasonable for an anarchist party to form in the first place. Usually that means weird stuff is that, oh, they've backed down. I genuinely wasn't expecting that. Huh. Okay, that amount of opium plantation is way better. Considering almost all of it comes in from trade centers, yeah. Having at least some local production is nice. Okay, 2.4, let's see. 1.6. 2.6. Brazil might intervene. And Egypt. But my infamy is so low that it doesn't really matter that much. Regime change. What's different about your regime? Oh. You're a council republic with incredibly important aristocrats. Yep. Sounds about right. Meet the new boss. Same as the old boss. Could you target the Anarchist Society, please? It's also kind of annoying when the communists target the Anarchist Society. The exact same reason. Just redux. I should take a moment. Check the building registry. And another bloodless annexation. Welcome to modernity. Oh boy. Oh, I forgot. Carta had 2 states, and I picked Conquer State. Shoot. And Japan's considered a great power. Wonderful. Great Britain is very far down on the list now, number 7. Okay, I've got a free government reform. Let's see what interesting things I can do with the government setup. Minister of Culture. It's a big one. This is the cabinet. Cannot use aggressive diplomatic plays. That's interesting. Thank you. I kind of need to sit on that one. The bad synergy is going to be real funny. Fine, take the regional administration. Okay, fine. That leads back to the same old position. At this point, I might as well autofill. Okay, you know what? No, just load the autosave. That did not work. Not one bit. The communists are too strong, they're too popular, and too many other things. It just won't work, regardless of what I try. Which is greatly annoying. So just let the election happen. At the very least, if the movement actually turns critical, it's becoming smaller and smaller in support. Thankfully. And it's doing so fairly quickly. So I should be able to handle it should anything happen. But yes. It is pretty bad. Is there anything I could set up construction-wise? Maybe a large set of fuel refineries. Oil refineries, because I constantly need more fuel. Although it is starting to become a little... Do I actually need more oil? Not really. Which is... okay-ish, I guess? Could definitely use more iron, though. Problem is that there's just not that many people here. So there's not much I could do about that. Yeah, I'll subsidize this, see if anyone wants natural gas. Okay, there is some demand for natural gas. So I'll look into it. Anything expensive that's a government good? Sort of. I guess I can add a couple levels of explosives here. Most of it is spent on steel, but steel is not something I can work with. It's as good as it gets for a while. Especially considering the cost of iron is the single largest cost, and I don't have new means of producing iron. The best I can do is this. Which isn't helpful at all. At the very least, once these provinces, states calm down, they'll start getting some actual immigration. Heck, the states are already getting immigration. People are leaving Household already. Okay, some battery plants here. Wouldn't be a bad idea. I guess I could set up a new automotive industry. Well, maybe not here. There's actually no room here. But here? Why not? So I could definitely use cars. No tanks. Tanks, but no tanks. There's plenty of motor production, so there's not actually a necessity for that. Already swapped it over to film art. I could upgrade the entertainment areas to start using electricity. Part of the problem is that there's only so many entertainment areas that exist. Partially due to their stringent requirements for building them. Oh yes, recent events like the election that just happened. Huh. Yeah, I think I've gone on long enough. Okay, so that's something I could do. Furniture production. I know one of these I've set up to be luxury furniture production. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a good reason to do that. So, blam. That'd be enough for that. And even for the furniture, I guess? Well, I can always produce more. Here. I guess I could do more media. Oh, I'd rather top... Did I top it off to 50 yet? The media industries? No? Okay. Top it off a bit more. There, that should be construction for a while. I hate to admit it, but the game is definitely starting to slow down. I did, however, manage to start moving my way into here. There's still a tiny bit of Carter left because I picked the wrong war goal, and Massini might end up being defended by someone major like Austria-Hungary or Great Britain, but you know, I can handle it. No, I can't. The UK just has way too many troops and allies. That's why I haven't touched the Congo since. The UK is guaranteeing them. But East Africa is independent now. So the UK might not do so. Of course, there is the problem of Mexico, Canada, and possibly the USA. Possibly. But with that, I can start making my way into here and cleaning up the easy enough stuff here. There's quite a bit of copper here, and rare earths. Oh jeez, the number of urban buildings. There's iron here. And a lot of common ores. So that's interesting. I've been looking to try to get extraction where I can, but simply put, there's only so much around for me to work with. And there are issues in various locations on what is the best thing to do next. Sometimes it feels like someone is trying to take advantage of the fact that I'm subsidizing railways to deal with issues. Not electric. I'd rather use electricity than fuel. Either way, I may need to check taxes again. If there's nothing else works, it's that. But yeah, plenty of stuff got done slowly. Still trying to get to the tier 5 text, but I'm almost done with that. I did, however, pick up international organizations, which is why this doesn't look as bad as it used to. The authority. So I'm no longer getting an increased amount of radicals from movements. And the fascist movement will hopefully continue to lose relevance until it's done. And I can ignore it entirely. At that point, I'd be a lot happier. The sad thing is I can't move things around too much. I have, in fact, tried, but that guarantees a revolution. And while right now they're weak, I'd rather not have the chance that the UK decides, oh, perfect timing. Turn them into a subject and let's roll. And that would be bad. I don't know, I just run on the general assumption that most people hate me and it works out. Wait, Cynical's independent now. Yeah. Colonial nations are getting independence left and right. Which is great. It gives me plenty of opportunities to actually go ahead and attack them. Assuming no one defends them. Which is the case for East Africa. For Congo, that's no longer true. Victoria is for some reason one of the biggest ones. I do have a land connection to the Rift Valley. Well, that's worse. How about... Kenya is also ludicrously bad. I don't like that. I may go after Equatoria next time, though. I can handle Spain and Canada. And probably Egypt, too. Egypt's a bit questionable, but I think I can handle them. They don't exactly have the most advanced military in the world. Well, they've got mechs. And basic tanks. Still running artillery though, so. Alright. I think I'll call it for now, so. See you again next time. Till then, bye.